IBLN, Elon Ben Hersher. My dad's name is Patty.
Go by his name.
Might have to twist it.
Nobody can eat it. But, you know, I got paid for it for my parents.
How are you? What's your name?
Yosef.
Ah,
Wait, did you do Sarah?
I'm doing Sarah right now. Slow-mo, you got it. So, which one is Baruch now? Wait a second, hold on, sorry. No problem. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so then and then when you're done, you pull this string and it'll tighten. Yeah, Mommy, this is candy. I can eat something.
Oh, really?
And we're stuffing it with some candy. They belong to their cousin.
I like your pattern.
Oh, thank you.
I love the cotton candy. Honey, we're almost matching.
Never mind. Never mind what we said. You know what? They got us done 3 days ago. It worked.
Precious article of Jewish life. In times of great joy, we hold it high, a symbol of our eternal relationship with God. In times of need, we pray in its presence, acknowledging our faith and our commitment to this precious gift we were given. Sinai, over 3,300 years ago. It is a book of wisdom. It is a book of values. It is a book of holiness. It is a book of life. Remarkably, despite the passage of thousands of years, some filled with upheaval and suffering for the Jewish people, not one letter of the Torah has ever been changed. The words we read today in synagogues all over the world are exactly those dictated by God, recorded by Moses, and meticulously transcribed for generations. In order for the Torah to be considered kosher, each and every letter must be perfectly formed. None may be missing or even cracked. Our sages have taught that the same applies to our nation. Each and every Jew is of utmost importance and constitutes an essential and integral part of the Jewish people. As our sign reads, one God, one Torah, one community. There are 613 mitzvot in the Torah. The very last mitzvah is to write a Torah scroll. Today, together as a community, we are doing just that. We are perpetuating our precious heritage for yet another generation. By participating in the cost of the writing, to whichever extent you are able, you have a part in this Torah. I was first inspired to begin this project about a year ago when my mother passed away. My mother was an incredible, selfless person who gave of her time, warmth, and support to so many. She perfectly embodied the values that the Torah teaches, such as kindness, humility, faith, and honesty. She was also extremely proud of her Judaism. She taught us, her children, to hold tightly to our Jewish identities and heritage. After she passed, I searched for a project which would do honor to her memory and to the beautiful person she was. The writing of a brand new Torah certainly does that. I am sure she's watching us all from above and celebrating along with us, feeling blessed and proud that in her honor, another community is acquiring a new Torah of its own. My father so much wanted to be here, but unfortunately, he had to be in Israel for his father's yahrzeit, so he's not here physically with us, but he told me that he's definitely there in spirit, and he's here with us as well. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge our gold sponsors. If you can please come up and receive your certificate. Patty and Gary Shorts, in memory of their parents. By divine providence, Patty didn't even know this, today is your mother's yahrzeit. And the Torah was dedicated, part of it, for your mother. How interesting. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. The Gusika family, in memory of the victims of the Pittsburgh shooting. Thank you. If you can please come up. Our silver sponsors, Mrs. Shelley Zapian, in memory of her parents. I don't think she's here now. Mrs. Shelley Kilcoyne, in memory of her parents. Shelley, if you can please come up. Mr. Robert Israel. Our bronze sponsors, Mrs. Karen Kaiser, Michelle and Andy Fox, they're here? They're here somewhere. Oh, there they are. Serlin family in honor of Tal's bar mitzvah this week. Got it? No? Okay, we'll just use this one for now. And the Rottenberg family in honor of their children. Contributed towards this unifying and impactful project. Thank you all. If you have not yet done so and still wish to, there are brochures on the tables. You can also find the link on our homepage on the website, ChabadYorktown.com, and you can participate. We will now be showing a video of a song which was cleverly and movingly written as if from the perspective of the Torah itself. Pay attention to the words as they tell a beautiful story. Politicians and community service members who so graciously join us in honor of this momentous occasion. Ilan Gilbert, esteemed supervisor of the town of Yorktown. Ilan?
Yes.
If you can come up please and say a few words. Thank you.
I thought I was going to get off easy. How do you follow both the rabbi and that beautiful presentation? Really incredibly moving. I want to thank everybody for coming here today. I want to thank my fellow board member, Ed Lackerman, our Assemblyman, Kevin Byrne, Vishnu Patel, Mike Kaplowitz, our legislator, Diana Quast, our town clerk, Chief Noble, our chief. Well, I'll let you say it as well. They all deserve a second. I have my executive assistant, Stu Glass, here as well. It's funny, I grew up in Queens, and when I was the age of these young children here, I was told that America, the great thing about our country was that we were a melting pot. I'm not so sure. I think over the years, I think we're better off describing our country as like a stew, where the flavors marinate together, but you still, when you eat the stew, you still taste the meat, you still taste the carrots, you still taste the different spices individually as well. And that's the beauty of our country, is that we are all together, but yet we can celebrate our individualities, and today is one of those days. I want to congratulate the Yorktown Chabad, the Yorktown Jewish community, the town, the entire town of Yorktown, and our nation. And I do say this because yet we can gather in times of grief and join together and understand our commonality, but we should do that in times of joy as well. And this is a time of joy. I also wanted to indicate that in a world of turmoil, such joy can be achieved by respecting each other's differences and embracing and celebrating our similarities. And obviously the idea of the Torah tells us of the laws and of the Jewish people, but it also represents law and order, respect, which enables us to live in a society together. And that aspect will help us through this the world of turmoil that we live in. So I think we can achieve again such joy by respecting others and understand that for the good of one is ultimately the good for all, which is sort of just opposite, but it's the same as the concept of our country, e pluribus unum, out of many come one. So thank you all for celebrating this wonderful day. And again, I think this is not just a day for the Jewish community, but a day for our town. Thank you.
We're fortunate to have the supervisor part of the Chabad, as part of the Chabad community, member of the shul. So thank you, Ilan. Help us with the minyan when we need it, right? Well, you mentioned it. It would only be fair if I mention it as well. To thank Chief Noble. Thank you, Chief, for everything you do for the Jewish community, for the community at large, especially for this event, for all your protection. Thank you so much. Councilman Ed Lachterman, thank you. Councilman Vishnu Patel, thank you. Councilwoman Alice Roker, thank you. County Legislator Michael Kaplowitz. Did I miss anybody? Kevin Burns, thank you. And Diana Quast, thank you. Thank you. I'd like to ask a dear friend, who's really a dear friend of the Chabad of Yorktown, Rabbi Sternstein, if you can come up just to congratulate and to say a few words. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
I don't think I need the mic. First of all, I want to say Yashkor and all of my best wishes personally and on behalf of the Yorktown Jewish Center as well to Rabbi Heber, who's doing wonderful work in our community, and I salute him for the work that he's doing and appreciate very much that both he and I work together to improve our community and to bring Jewish values into the community, the finest and most noble of values by which our tradition commands us to live. In fact, King David, who wrote the book of Psalms, summarized what Torah is all about, and I want to share his words with you. He wrote a couple of sentences that I think we should all bear in mind. And King David writes in Psalm number 19, I'll read it in the Hebrew and then I'll translate it for you. Torat Adonai tmima mishivat nafesh, edut Adonai nemana machkimat peti, pikudei Adonai sharim samchei lev, mitzvat Adonai bara meirat einai. This is what King David says about the Torah. God's Torah is perfect, restoring the soul. The testimony of God is trustworthy, making even the simple one into a wise person. The orders of God are upright, gladdening the heart. The command of God is clear, enlightening the eyes. The fear of God is pure, enduring forever. God's judgments are true, altogether righteous. They're more desirable than gold, even much fine gold. They are sweeter than honey, dripping from the comb. So when you think about what King David said about Torah and the fact that today we're all coming here to celebrate together the dedication of a Torah, this, I pray, is the way all of us, whether we are Jew or Gentile, it doesn't matter, to revere the Torah is a beautiful thing. It creates, as you've heard, I won't repeat it, but you did hear about the order that it lends to a community, the ennoblement of virtue that it lends to a community. And our community is really a very, very beautiful one. And I hope that today marks even yet another peak that we reach here together in Yorktown. And again, Mazel Tov, Yashkor, and Simcha.
Thank you. And now, our inauguration celebration will begin. Firstly, the Torah will be lifted for all to see, and the yad and the crown, the yad being the pointer, and the kete, the crown, will be placed on the Torah. I will ask my oldest brother, on behalf of the Heber family, to place the yad on the Torah. And my father-in-law, the Torah will be carried down the street under a wedding canopy, or chuppah, accompanied by music and dancing. We will be escorting the Torah to its new home, the Chabad Center on Route 132, directly opposite the fire station. It's about a 10-minute walk. As is the tradition, the older Torah scrolls will be brought out of the ark and carried outside to welcome the new Torah. Once we arrive at the shul, the traditional hakafot will be performed, where the Torah is carried around the bima 7 times, while specific prayers are recited. The Torah is then placed in the ark for regular use. So, without further ado, let us begin. Please rise. No, I can't. I'd like to read the mantle. In English, it says, dedicated to the Chabad Jewish Center of Yorktown in loving memory of a true woman of valor, Mrs. Rachel Leah Heber, by her family and the local Chabad community. We will begin. Going around and we get a chance to kiss the Torah. Go there.
Honey.
We got light and then you can
שלמו בביאת המשיח אני מאמין באמונה שלמו בביאת המשיח אני מאמין משיח 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 משיח
גשר צר והעיקר הוא לפחד כלל ומלמעלה הוא שומר צר ואויב לא יתקרב לאט ויד ביד ישראל זה עמך ומלמעלה הוא עוזר שומר שומר ישראל ישראל לא לפחד שמרגע
in Hebrew, and then we will say it together, paragraph by paragraph in English. Those who know the Hebrew and can say it along, please say it along together. Ata And now in English, we say it together. You have been shown to know that the Lord is God. There is none else aside from Him. Give thanks to Him, who alone performs great wonders. His kindness is eternal. There is none like you among the sons of the Lord, nor any deeds like yours. May the glory of the Lord forever. May the Lord find delight in His works. May the name of the Lord be blessed from now and for eternity. May the Lord our God be with us as He was with our Father. Give thanks to your holy name. Lord is King. The Lord was King. The Lord will be King forever and ever. The Lord will give strength to His people. The Lord will bless His people with peace. May our words find favor before the Master of all things. Whenever the ark set out, Moses would say, "Arise, O Lord, your enemies will be dispersed, and your foes will flee before you. Ascend, O Lord." Okay, second hakafa on page 3. She's going to take it. The top of page 4. Mazel tov, simmen tov, simmen tov. Simmen tov, mazel